Getting beaten here, he really has been the class of the field this weekend.
Yeah, he took both wins by the first one 5.6 seconds and the second one 3.5 seconds over Max Hardy on both occasions, Keith. So there's a gap on row number 3 where Kurt Powell and Howard Birchnell would have lined up, but we do have the green flag at the back. Revs up, eyes on the lights, out go the lights.
Okay, Malander is away very well indeed. Again, looks like Max Hardy struggling to get off the line a little bit there. Much reduced field of bikes as we go into Richie's for the first time. Oh, somebody having a bit of a struggle there. Gets passed by a couple of other bikes, but they manage to keep it out of the dusty stuff as we race down towards Wilson's for the first of 9 times. And there's Malander who leads the way at this early stages. Keeping an eye 3 abreast as they come out there and all fight for position as the leader now makes his way up towards Palmer. Greeted by the green light on the short chute from Palmer's down to Agostini's, and what a gap he's already got. He's flying, isn't he?
Yeah, certainly is. As you mentioned yesterday, 2 times Thundersport champion, 2020 and 2021 for Brendan Malander. That was on the BMW, but a few years ago he made the switch to Honda Power, and it is the number 6 Honda of Brendan Malander that leads the way, ahead of number 1 Max Hardy, the reigning champion and the reigning Milano Trophy winner from last year. That looks to be number 87 there for Carl Thompson, who's up into 4th or 5th place, and it was a good start. In fact, I'm interested to see what happens between Ben and Clinton Wood, because yesterday Clinton Wood managed to finish ahead of Ben Wood in the first race, but in the second race it was Clinton ahead of Ben.
I see that Ben is listed as being on R1 on the program there, or on the timing sheets there, but I thought it was a BMW rider.
Yeah, it is a BMW. I think previously he has ridden the Yamaha R1. That's when he was going for the Rookie 1000 Championship with Dan Chamberlain. And I didn't see Dan a few weeks ago, but he was riding at Canada Heights in a veterans class as a support race for the World Championship in the sidecar motocross paddock.
Yeah, because he's established. What was he, world champion at sidecar motocross?
Not world champion, but 2-time British champion.
There you go, and also manages the British team at that level too, doesn't he? These
yes,
days?
That's right.
So Malander over the line there with a very healthy lead already from, it's going to be Ramon Hunt, who's got Max Hardy behind him there. These guys are 3 1/4 seconds back or so. Gap between those two, those less than 1/10 of a second.
We've got a rider down at Nelson's, unfortunately, on this opening lap there, Keith.
Okay, that's going to be Mark Betts.
Two riders.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Betts and Morgan. Looks like the riders are up and okay, but unfortunately the bikes have decided to go for a mating ritual there.
There is that yellow Yamaha of Alan Morgan, unfortunately, and as you said, Keith, Mark Betts, the other rider, on his Yamaha as well. So that means that Ben Wood is the one and only clubman in this race, and there are 2 retros out there as well. So no matter what happens in those 2 classes, you are on the podium.
Yep, absolutely. You only beat who shows up, and you can only kind of beat who finishes the race as well. As he struck a machine, Morgan there left lying on its side while the marshals recover 1 bike. The obviously can't recover 2 at a time because it's all good, it's well away. There'll be the flags waving down there just to alert the other riders that there's something slightly amiss as they make their way onto the back straight, and they'll be in that slightly dodgy area in just a moment.
Just to add insult to injury there and rub salt in the wound, it looks like Alan Morgan's was the recipient of a 10-second penalty as well for a jump start. So that goes from bad to worse for Alan, unfortunately.
Okay, that means you finished last plus minus 10, I suppose. Yeah, okay, I don't think it'll be ruining the penalty too much now, no matter how well deserved it was.
Malander's well out in front on this second lap. He went 2 seconds quicker than Ramon Hunt in the first split, and it looks like Ramon Hunt is getting to grips with that Honda because he's pulling out an advantage now over that looks to be Matt Pallett, who's up next.
Okay, so what's happened to Max Hardy then?
Max Hardy is down in 5th position there, unfortunately. So Max Hardy down in 5th place as they come across the line. There goes Ramon in 2nd. Here's Matt Pallett on the distinct triple-cylinder machine in 3rd. Carl Thompson, Max Hardy, and then Ben Wood on the BMW up next. There's Clinton Wood, the first of the retros, and then Matt Wren on the number 63 Honda, 2nd of the retros, and completes the 8 riders currently circulating.
So Max Hardy there, probably about 5 or 6 seconds slower than you'd expect Max to go, so clearly something not quite right, unless of course he just had a bit of a moment and ran wide somewhere. We'll wait and see. He certainly didn't look as though he's going too slowly down the front straight here. Brendan and Clinton Wood separated by 2 1/4 seconds, with the 2nd of the retros of Matt Wren a little bit further back. So there we go. There's a challenge there. Is that Max Hardy on Carl Thompson?
Certainly is, yeah. Carl Thompson, who was a front runner in the Rookie 1000 Championship a few years ago. Of course, that championship no longer exists. But he's right there now playing chase to the number 1 of Max Hardy, who, he feels like it's been around for ages, does Max Hardy, but we first saw him in line for, what, 12, 13-year-old?
Yeah, no, he's been around for quite a few years. The trouble, I first saw him as a very small child, because I've known his parents for quite a while as well, and indeed his uncle. Uncle Tyler, I don't see him in the meeting so much. Sorry?
Did you race against?
Race against Uncle Tyler and Dad. They both beat me to the championship, so such is life.
Not that you remember that.
No, not a bitter interest. No, fair play. Both very good riders in their own right. But, they were. Tyler was a particularly quick BMX rider back in the day as well. So there you go. That's where his two-wheel skills go back to. So much reduced field here, unfortunately, as the leaders make their way back towards the line. And that is going to be Brendan Mallender looking to pick up an easy 25 points here. It's 54.288, so he's certainly not rolling off any time soon at all. Ramon Hunt, he'll be delighted if he can bring this home, a solid second place for him. It'd be nice to have a shiny silver medal for the dashboard, and Matt Pallett on that Tony Scott prepared 765 machine, a stunning machine. Max does indeed go past on Carl that time round. Yeah, Hardy, now he's back into the 57s, which is, well, actually I expect him to be going a little bit quicker again, but we'll wait and see. But he did come across the line 4 seconds behind Matt Pallett, so Matt's got a pretty handy lead, and in fact Matt went a little bit, only a fraction of a second slower. Go on, mate.
Yeah, Max Hardy yesterday got into the mid-54s in race number 1, and then backed it up with the mid-55s in race number 2. Mallender has always been in the 54s, and he's doing the same again, because a 54.288 is the fastest lap that we've seen from the man from Rotherham.
Okay, impressive stuff then, because it's totally unchallenged, of course, so he can relax and get on with it, so no added stress there for Brendan at all. As he makes his way down deep into 3 figures down the long Bentley Straight. 15.904 is the purple time to beat at the first sector, and there's 16.392, so a few tenths away, but it's his own purple sector time that he's trying to beat up anyway. The 141 machine of Ramon Hunt next to trip the timing beam, a couple of seconds slower as you'd expect. Then Pallett a little bit quicker actually. In fact, it was 0.6 of a second he's just pulled out there on what is, in theory at least, one of the fastest parts of the circuit. So I tell you what, I wouldn't write that off Matt Pallett, because when he came across the line, he was 2.3 seconds behind Ramon in front of him. Ramon had put in a slightly quicker lap, a 0.3 of a second or so quicker. But if Matt can keep up the pace that he's showing now, he could be getting close to a higher step. Yeah, and he's losing out on, what would you say, about 70 horsepower or something like that. That 765 Triumph RS coming past us now, and yeah, that maybe 135 horsepower for the bike driven by Matt Pallett, number 12, heading in towards Riches now, whereas the bikes around him will be pushing, if not exceeding, 200 brake horsepower. So he's losing out on the straights, and this Snetterton circuit is pretty much famous for its long straights. Yeah, absolutely. One of the fastest circuits we go to. It's not quite the fastest. That belongs to the Donington National Circuit, I think. The speed around there, on average at least, is quicker. And Pallett was on average a little bit quicker by about 0.8 of a second on Hunt that time, so he'll be seeing that bike getting closer to him. He'll be pushing on very hard indeed. I don't know if Ramon's getting any sort of pit signals from his friends down there, but they will be telling him, hang on mate, you might have a problem here in a moment, because that little Triumph is coming along strong. Yeah, Ramon is getting pit boards down there. I can see P2 for the pit board of Ramon Hunt. He is 11.2 seconds adrift of Brendan Mallender. We do have 5 laps to go, or 4.5 laps to go. We're exactly halfway through the race now for Brendan Mallender as he goes into the second split. A little bit slower than the fastest of the race, but still with 11.2 seconds advantage, you don't want to take any unnecessary risks, do you? Certainly don't. The other 3 bikes were all into the greens last time as they hit the split times, and once again it's a green this time for Ramon Hunt, and it's a yellow, and quite a substantial yellow, about 1.1 seconds. So I think Pallett's had a bit of a wobble. More importantly though, Max Hardy seems to have closed him down by nearly 2 seconds, 1.8 seconds or so. So Max Hardy is coming on strong, and he wants to regain that podium position that he had at the very start of the race, as Mallender comes across the line with a 55 1/4 there to hold on to that lead. Let's have a look and see what the gap is between himself and Ramon, and what could be, well, was looking to be a three-way battle, but I don't think it's going to be this time. There goes Hunt, 12.8 seconds back. Pallet, again, the gap has now gone out by around about a second. They do nearly identical lap times, 56.789 as against a 56.769. But if you're going to be catching people at 200ths of a second, it's going to take you 50 laps just to make up that 1 second. So I don't think he's going to do that in a hurry. Hardy, however, behind does manage to go 1.1 seconds quicker. So he's got the gap down to just 1.4 seconds between himself and Matt Pallet. Carl Thompson getting left a little bit, having a bit of a lonely race is Carl. He's got a good gap between himself and Ben Wood, who's the leading clubman of about 6.5 seconds. Matt Wren goes past on Clinton Wood to take the lead in the retro class as well. And in fact, the fastest lap there is a couple of seconds difference, and that was the difference in the lap times on the last lap as well. So maybe things aren't 100% in the Clinton camp at the moment, or maybe it's just been a long weekend and he's getting tired. Well, that doesn't change as he clicks the timing beam, goes into the 17s for the first time. He'll be coming around shortly, and there will just be the 3 laps left. So look and see if there's any change for Ramon Hunt there. You know, he's into the 18, so again, quite a bit slower for him. And now, again, Pallet goes quicker by 0.7 of a second. So let's wait and see. Maybe that was just a bit of a wobble there from him. However, Max is still coming very fast indeed. Goes 0.4 of a second quicker than Pallet in front of him. So he's going to have that gap down to less than a second now. If he had DRS, if he had opened his flaps up and come streaming along. But thank God we don't rely on that kind of fake, rubbishy thing just to create a bit of a spectacle as Mallender comes across the line to complete 2/3 race distance. 66%.
Matt Pallet isn't too far away from Ramon Hunt here. The gap's come down to 1.4 seconds because Matt went a second quicker on that previous lap. In fact, make it 1.1 seconds quicker than Ramon Hunt in front. And Max Hardy's closing as well. He went 0.3 of a second quicker than Matt Pallet. Three-way tussle coming towards us now out of Murray's and across the centre straight. There is Ben Wood ahead of Matt Wren and Clinton Wood. So they are 6th, 7th and 8th in this race overall, but of course Ben Wood, the one and only clubman in this race. Matt Wren leads Clinton Wood for the retros by just shy of 0.8 of a second, and Clinton Wood a 2-minute 0.393. That's his personal best lap of the race so far. But Brendan Mallender already through the infield. He's round doggies on his way towards Williams, and then on the back straight for what will be the 7th time of 9. So in towards Palmer's now comes the fight between Ben Wood, Matt Wren and Clinton Wood. As in fact that looks to be that change of position there. It seems as though that Matt Pallet has got in front of Ramon Hunt, so we'll have a look at the timing lights when they go into sector number 2, but it looked as though that the 765 Triumph of Matt Pallet has found his way through on the 141 Honda of Ramon Hunt. They're going down the back straight now, and of course this is where Matt Pallet will lose out quite substantially down the back straight with a relative lack of power compared to the Fireblade behind him. But as they go into that second split, Pallet 1.5 seconds quicker, and that means they're almost side by side because there was only 1.498 between them at the line. Yeah, it's going to be a very good battle when they come around Corums next time. It was looking as though we were going to have a 3-way battle for the minor placings here. Certainly Brendan Mallender is going to be unchallenged, but if you have a look at these 3 as they come round now, you can see Pallet is going to come under some severe pressure, and of course Hardy's going to be picking up a good toe on the back of Pallet and Hunt as well. This of course is where the front straight is going to not pay many dividends for Matt Pallet. It's not a slow bike, but unfortunately there's some very fast things behind him, and that was that Max going up the inside there. Go on, mate. Yeah, up the inside of Ramon Hunt as well. So Max Hardy across the line in 4th, but he's up into 2nd place overall now, and that of course will mean a couple more places and quite a few more points in his pocket. Certainly will do. Pity you don't get a pound per point, because he would have just earned himself an extra few bob, that's for sure. Carl Thompson's still very lonely there in that 5th place. Now, Hunt would have been enjoying himself in 2nd place there, and he'd like to hold on to that. I wonder if Pallet's found a way past on Hunt as well, because they were all very close indeed. Who can we see there? No, that's still Matt there. So it's only Max that's made up any places there where he gets the double. Hunt still leads Pallet at the moment. That's absolutely the case as we go around Agostino's, and Matt Pallet will be losing out. They may gain a little bit here and there through the infield, but once they get onto the Bentley straight, then how much do you reckon it will open up by? Maybe half a second or so, maybe a second?
Yeah, I would have thought so. We're having a watch through them as they go around Oggie's, and you can see Matt's got the gap down to about 3, 4, 5, 6 bike lengths as we go into Williams here. This is where you can screw the power on, and the big bike, particularly if he's got all the traction controls and fancy bits on there, you can really open the taps up and disappear off, and that's exactly what Ramon is doing ahead of Matt at the moment. He's chasing after Hardy as well, so he becomes a bit of a pace setter. The real pace setter, though, is coming around out of Murray's now to pick up the last lap flag for the third time this weekend. He'll be the first one to greet it in this particular class. Number 1 plate of Max Hardy trailing behind.
Looks like somebody just went wide on the approach to the bomb hole there, unfortunately. And whether that was one of the 3 riders in the fight for second, we'll get confirmation on that one as the last lap flag goes out. So Brendan Mallender already across the line. There's a 55.8 for him on that previous lap. Next up is that battle for second. Here is Max Hardy, number 1, and then the number 12 machine of Matt Pallet. So it could well have been Ramon Hunt who went wide. And it looks like we've got a retirement up at Corrams. I can see that pulling off to the outside of the circuit, unfortunately.
Okay, that's not somebody from our top 3, but unfortunately I can see Ramon Hunt's name just dropped down the field as Matt Pallet moved up into 3rd place. So I do wonder if unfortunately Ramon is just luck has gone from bad to worse, because there goes Carl Thompson across the line in 4th place overall, or 4th place in class as well. And there's Ben Wood next across the line, so Matt Wren across the line, then it's Ben Wood, then Clinton Wood. And again, we've got a bit of a battle on there because Clinton's only less than a tenth of a second behind his son as well.
Yeah, I think Clinton.
So a bit of a battle for the wood.
I think Clinton led Ben as they came out of Murray's, but of course Ben with a S1000 RR and Clinton Wood with a 20-year-old GSX R1000 now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ben will have a little bit more power, to say the least. But so far this weekend, Ben has come out on top on one occasion, Clinton came out on top on the other. So whoever finishes in front of the other will have bragging rights.
Certainly will, and we'll rub it in the van all the way home. So down they go. Clinton would love to pull one over on Ben, but as you say, Ben has got the newer, slightly faster bike, slightly more handling, a few more electronics to keep it in control. His old man's got an awful lot of experience and cunning on his side as well. So I'm not writing Big Clinton off just yet. Similarly coloured machines make their way down to Oggie's Matt Pallet, holding on to a solid 3rd place there. Matt Wren's actually not too far ahead of the Woods there either.
Checkered flag goes out, and it's Brendan Mallender who takes the 3rd victory of 3 races throughout the course of this weekend. So a perfect haul of 75 points for him, and that puts him 73 points ahead of Scott Halliday in the championship as we come away from this 5th round. Max Hardy across the line, 20 points for him. And a 1 minute 55.3 as his fastest lap of the race, set on lap number 7. There goes Matt Pallet on the podium on that 765cc Triumph, and 3.8 seconds away from the reigning champion of Max Hardy by the checkered flag. But all eyes on that fight between the Woods as Carl Thompson comes across the line. 4th place for him in 13 points.
Carl suddenly pulls in a 56.9. That would have that's a really good lap time. I mean, he's gone from 58s to 56s, but right on the very last lap when he was unchallenged. So not quite sure he found that last little extra bit of speed from as the rest of the field come over, and it is Matt Wren who does indeed beat Ben, and then Clinton Wood. So the Woods are separated by 1.8 seconds, so Ben obviously pushed on there, and I think his old man might have rolled out of it a little bit because he goes yellow in the end of the lap there, whereas son Ben goes green.